All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. We got a full house tonight. Joined alongside Jacob in Wisconsin. We got Emilio in Tennessee. We got Carly in Wisconsin. And we got Tim sporting the flannel in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
I don't think so, Tim.
Is that flannel or plaid? What is that? I don't know the difference. What's the difference between flannel and
Man,
plaid?
I missed you guys. We're already rocking. I love it. It's
So
flannel.
flannel is a material.
It's windy up
Flannel
here,
is a
okay?
material.
It's really windy today. All right.
You guys remember Home Improvement, right? He's the Richard Karn. I don't think so, Tim. He's wearing the flannel. It fits perfect. There we go.
I don't know, man. I
Are
figured
you
you just
calling me Al Borland? Is that what you're calling me right now?
I wouldn't disrespect you saying you're Al Borland. All right.
I'm thinking he just got off Farming Simulator. You know what I mean? He's been over there doing the thing. So, Mike Berry, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, sir. We missed you guys. Obviously took a night off. Looks like all hell broke loose. I seen the chat. So, anyway, Jake Shavink, where's John Stamos? Because it's a full house tonight. That's right, sir. Should we play the soundtrack to that show, the theme song? Should we hit that? We'll get hit with the copyright on that one.
Probably. Yeah.
So, do that. All right, let's waste no more time. This show already sucks.
Ready to go.
Emilio's over eating. You're gonna see his camera kill like 8 times. He's got what dipping sauce do you have, Emilio?
It's actually Taco Bell hot sauce, but because I already put Frank's Red Hot on the quesadilla right while I'm cooking it. But then you got to get the Taco Bell sauce for a little bit of added flavor when you're for dipping. I just don't have any sour cream, or else I'd be.
You grilled that chicken too, didn't you?
I grilled it last night. You saw it.
And I'm telling the brass on this, guys. Jacob said Tom Holman in the front yard. He's out there grilling.
I just hope that he mutes. I hope that he mutes his microphone along with cueing the camera so we don't hear that slurping over there.
All right. Here we go. Dirtiest player. I don't know if ML Football had their fans vote on this or if it was actually a fan vote across the league. But ML Football said, congrats to Kirby Joseph on winning the fan vote of the year for the dirtiest player of the year. There was no argument for me here. Well deserved. Any disagreements with this award here? Should someone else have been voted the dirtiest player of the year other than Kirby Joseph?
No.
Yeah.
Bill Romanowski still.
Yeah, still the reigning champion. Hasn't played in 2 decades. He still deserves it. That guy is, man, he was a nutcase. All right, let's move along to the topic of the day here. Of course, I've already lost my Twitter feed. Give me just a second. You guys, I'm sure, have heard about the Josh Jacobs comments, right? Everybody talking about it. I think this is the original audio clip where actually it's not, is it? This is actually from Up and Adams earlier today. So we need to get the original audio. I was going to get the original audio. You know what? We could just talk about it. Josh Jacobs basically said we need a number 1 wide receiver, right? Is that what you guys are understanding from these comments?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. All right. I want to go around the horn with that. I'm going to see if I can find the actual clip because I got this one from Up and Adams with Kay Adams where he's just talking about Jordan Love. And it sounds to me like Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs are kind of taking on this leadership role on offense. It really does. What's your all's take? I don't know who all heard the comment, and I'll see if I can find it. I want to know, do you guys got a problem with Josh Jacobs saying that? And I don't care. We'll start with you, Jacob. Have you heard it yet?
I have heard it. I have no problems with it whatsoever. I think that if you're going to be a leader, leaders got to lead, and you got to speak up. When you see something, say something. That's been our motto for the existence of the podcast here. It was clear as we went down the stretch that, yeah, we had other needs that probably did us in, like we talked about pre-show here, that the trenches, that's probably the main reason. But going into the next season, if we want to take it to that next level, I think we need a couple pieces maybe on defense, but definitely on offense, we just need a couple more home run hitters. And when Watson went out, we just didn't have that ability to really scare people on offense. And we could attribute that to many different things, but I like what Josh Jacobs said. I like that he's taking reins and he's saying, hey guys, either I'm on the ship, I came here for a reason, it's to win a Super Bowl. We're not going to get that where playing patty cake and being nice to everybody. This is one of the most cutthroat businesses in the whole country, in the whole world. So I think Josh Jacobs is spot on, in my opinion.
All right, we got the audio here. Let me pull it up real quick. Let me give you all a nice little clip there. That'll cover it up. All right, here we go. This was Josh Jacobs. It was on 97.3 The Game, and Bill Schmidt Radio is what it looks like. Here we go.
Obviously, we got a really young group of receivers. All can be really, really, really special. But I think personally, we need a guy that's proven to be a number one already. So somebody that's we know it's going to be a little bit more consistent.
That maybe played here before.
If he come at the right price. Tell him to slide. You know, I've had to talk to Tate.
Josh, great work. Ultimate Crew, we appreciate that effort. Hey,
All right, so obviously he was talking about Devontae Adams there, right? When he said somebody who's already been here before for the right price. Emilio, Tim, what do you guys think about this? We'll get Carly's take as well.
He was the best guy around.
Now that I've seen it, Jacob's rundown earlier was just exactly what Jim needed in the office. Basically all Josh said was like, dude, yeah, we need a guy that'll step up. It could still be all the old players, you know what I mean? Like it still could be Tay, Watts, and Romeo. And the Jacob got me with that. They really could still be Tay, Watts, and Romeo, and all it would take is just them stepping up to get into that next level, right? So, I mean, he could be talking about somebody in free agency. He could just be talking about who's on the team. So, I'm for it.
Yep.
All right. Tim?
I don't think Josh said anything he didn't say during locker cleanout. He made that comment at the end of the season. You know, he was going to do his best to go to bat and try and, bring some talent into Green Bay to get us over the hump. So I'm not reading in between the lines, looking for drama like a lot of people are doing out there right now. He wants some top tier talent in here. He said a proven number one guy, proven receiver, and it could be Tay, it could be somebody else, who knows? But bottom line, I think he's looking for another veteran or two in that locker room to help get this young team over the hump.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Carly. What's your take on this?
I like what Too Old for This said, that he didn't say our wide receiver room sucks, but how much a proven guy could make a difference. But also, I'm kind of wondering, like, why is he saying this to the media? And if he's repeating it to the media, does that mean that he feels like the other people he's said it to aren't listening? Is kind of what has me wondering here. Because I feel like that's usually what you see, is that guys that repeat things to the media are saying out there because they don't feel like they're heard, or people are paying attention, in the front office or coaches or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know that that's the case. I'm not putting rumors out there. I just kind of wonder.
Got it. No, I think it's a great point. It is. And again, I think he was just answering the question, honestly. Anyone who thinks we've got a number one wide receiver, they're not really paying attention, Now, I'm of the opinion, if we think going out and spending 20 to 30 million on a T. Higgins or somebody is going to all of a sudden, boy, now we're there, could not disagree more. But at the same time, you can approach it two different ways, right? You can go into free agency and try to get one of these top guys for 3 to 4 years, or you can try to attack it in the draft. But we all know if it's not a first round pick, they're probably a good chance they're not going to start right away and be that dominant player. I mean, it's very rare that a dominant number one wide receiver falls even out of the first round, right? Although we've had a lot of success in the second round, I think there's a little bit of precedent there. So let's see. Randy Cleaver says, think how much better Jacobs would be if other teams had to worry about wide receiver one. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about that. You'd be rolling coverage that way. You'd be showing more too high shell, all those type of things. But, I mean, teams showed a lot of too high shell against us this year, and then they started blitzing, right? And, of course, we didn't handle the blitz as well as we have in the past, and I think that has a lot to do with Jordan Love's knee injury this year. So let's move along to his next comments. This was on Up and Adams with Kay Adams. So let's throw another screenshot up here real quick. There we go. That's perfect, Tim. Thank you so much. Here he is, Josh Jacobs, when asked about Jordan Love.
What you thought Jordan Love was like and what he's really like then and
Man, the thing that stood out the most is the way the ball come out his arm. Like, he be spinning the ball. And I think that was the biggest thing, like watching film on him, before coming. But then actually getting into practice with him, I'm like, oh, yeah, this dude got it. He definitely got it. I think it's about just putting it together on a consistent basis for him. But when he figure it out, man, he's gonna be special.
I can't wait. I see that smile. Yeah. I think Javonte's always talking about how he has poise. Was there?
All right, there you go. So obviously, Josh Jacobs very, very impressed with Jordan Love. What's your all's take on that? And we got Jordan Love, some comments from him earlier today as well. We're going to get to here in a second.
I mean, it's encouraging for sure. It's I don't think it's quote unquote, coach speak or player speak. I think that just Josh Jacobs, I didn't know Josh Jacobs, the type of personality he had, because I wasn't an Alabama fan. Obviously, I'm not a Raiders fan. The guy just seems like he's no nonsense and that he is just a football player first and foremost. And a lot of guys say that, but he just seems like he's all business and that he has one goal, and that's to win a Super Bowl. And you can look at that through all the different avenues. Like Tim said, when they were clearing out lockers, he made it real clear. I expect this team to get better and to take steps, and I'm going to be a leader. And I think that the addition of him and X has shown what it can do for this team. And he's, calling out that if we bring that other piece, and it's nice to know that he thinks that we don't need a quarterback. He's not saying that anywhere. And that's, I think, should be most reassuring to everybody, is he's calling out the quote unquote pieces that we have to put this puzzle piece completely together. I think it's a great thing. I think that obviously having him have Jordan's back is going to give Jordan more confidence to be a more vocal leader, which I think we've all wanted from him.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for sure. Josh Martin with the super chat. How much pressure does Jacobs' comment put on Goot to get a proven one? Would the best option be in free agency or moving up in the draft to get one? I think if it was that easy in the draft, we would have already done it, I don't think it's just a slam dunk. Okay, we move up in the first round, you're guaranteed a number one. Now, obviously, you miss every shot that you don't take, so you're going to have to swing a couple times up there if you truly want to hit on one of those top guys before they're gone. I mean, you look in the past, Justin Jefferson's one that went in the first round, right? Barely got away from us. Brandon Ayuk was another one. I want to say the 49ers took him right before we were going to take him, according to Goody at the time, that they had that high grade on him. But Emilio, what do you think? Anything you want to hit here on this super chat here from Josh or Josh Jacobs' comments?
Yeah, to Josh Martin's point there, I mean, I think it does put a little bit of pressure, but Goot's not looking at it just for what Josh said. I mean, I'm sure he's talking to Matt, talking to Jordan, see what we need. What does the entire team need, not just one person? Obviously, everyone's got their thoughts. Same with the Browns. Myles Garrett said he wants to be traded. We'll see what happens, right? So people can just talk and get their frustrations out there. That's cool. But I do love how he stepped up and taken that on the shoulder. Like, you're in high school, you get a new kid transferred in and he's starting, he moves into starting running back. Like, all right, dude, if you're new here, you're going to have to, your feet are going to get burnt quick. Like, you gotta step up, make a name for yourself, put it out there. And now you're carrying the G. So I wouldn't want anything less than Josh Jacobs doing that. We would be supporting Aaron Jones if he was saying that, just 3-4 years ago. So I'm totally for it. Maybe some people don't like the way it came out, but I think we need it.
My gosh.
No, I agree. And I think what Emilio's saying is spot on. I don't think it might put a little pressure on Goody in the sense of like public image wise, now that the guys are talking openly about it. But I think this is not coming as a shock to Goody in the front office at all. I think they know what the vibe is with that team and in that locker room. They know what they need to do going forward. And I don't think, players talking about bringing in a number one type receiver is gonna alter Goody's plans. For all we know, he's probably already on the phone working something out. So just keep your fingers crossed and see how it plays out. Stop trying to read things that haven't been written yet all the time, Sometimes there's nothing there. Sometimes you got to just take things at face value. And it does. It truly seems like Jacob was saying, we're one or two guys away from really putting together that Super Bowl run type of team. So I'm waiting with bated breath, man. It's going to be an exciting offseason.
Yeah. Carla?
I really like what Greg Rice said. Goody doesn't draft based off of player sound bites, which he wouldn't be our GM if he did that. But I also think if we're going to get a proven wide receiver one, the draft isn't the place to do it because the key word in there is proven, right? I don't think Josh Jacobs would expect us to get it in the draft because that's just, you're kind of rolling the dice.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good point. I do. And again, everybody, it's like we get sold on, well, if you just take one in the first round, you're going to get a number one. That's definitely not how it works, right?
No, we're going to get Tay, and then we're going to draft Jaden Higgins in the second round.
I knew he was going to say that. I knew it.
Josh, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. We appreciate you. All right, next comment here. If you'll give me another screen grab, Tim, when you get a chance there. This was Jordan Love on NFL on ESPN. So I'm trying to think of the show NFL Live earlier today. And Jordan Love was kind of asked about the offense and whatnot. And Josh Jacobs saying the Packers needed a wide receiver one. So let's see how QB1 responded to this.
How do you see this young group? And are there advantages in not having a number one? Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think we have different guys that can play and do different things better than other guys. And I think we have a wide or a deep receiver room. Obviously, like you mentioned, Tucker Kraft. But I think we got a lot of guys that can grow into that role. And I think we're still young. We're still building this thing. And guys are still proving themselves. So, Josh, he made those comments. And, I'm always right for my guys. I love the guys we have. I always say, if you add good players to an already good offense, I think, you can make it a better team.
So a potential number one wide receiver that could be available in free agency, T. Higgins, what would your thoughts be on adding him to your already talented roster?
Yes.
Like I said, T is a phenomenal player. Yeah. I know T pretty well. And, like I said, if you add a really good player to a really good offense, I think the sky's the limit. You could take it in pretty cool places.
All right, so there you go. There was QB1 addressing the situation there with Josh Jacobs. I think he handled it absolutely perfect. We'll go around the horn with it, though. Rusty Hurts, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, to me right now, I saw a comment earlier where it basically said the media must be bored right now. I think I think it is. We're in the off season right now. The news isn't very flash. I mean, there's a lot of news going around, but I feel like Packers Twitter specifically is going to make more of this than they rightfully should. I mean, shocker, right? The Packers Twitter is a little bit dramatic at times, but I think that as far as I think the players are handling it well. I think Love's handling it well. Jacobs is just handling it well. I think what Deadfish said too, real quick about Jacobs. He says Jacobs likes Green Bay because there's no distractions other than football. He can focus on football. I feel like Jordan's that same type of player where they understand what they're there for. They understand what they're getting paid for, and they don't screw around. To censor myself a little bit there. I like it. I like it a lot.
Emilio?
Yeah, I mean, it's the truth that we got a lot of talent. They just, at some point, someone needs to step up. I mean, he's going to be a Packers quarterback for a long time. I think we're going to keep hearing this stuff. He's going to always support his team, always keep getting better. Just do it behind the scenes, right? You don't need to post every 5 seconds of what you're doing to get better. You just got to keep grinding.
Yeah.
Don't do it, Tim. Don't do it.
Daryl in the chat, of course, said,
"Please don't."
I'm not talking.
Hey, all right. No, Carly.
Oh,
vetoed it. I vetoed it.
Duval.
My man. All right. You got it, Daryl. Special requests. This is the total request line. Y'all remember that show back in the day? TRL.
Get ready to go.
Oh, my God.
Jacob used to get ready. Used to get ready with TRL in the background, didn't he?
Hey, this is not a joke. When I came home, I taught myself the NSYNC Bye 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 dance, and I was in 5th grade, thanks to Carson Daly and TRL. I got all the ladies. Dude, I had a puka shell necklace. I had a sweet bowl cut. I had some Jinko jeans. Don't mess with me. Hide your girl. Hide your wife.
You don't act like the ladies you were chasing were young enough to know what that song was, Jacob. Come on. All right. Anyway, so I put Lions season are legit. NFL rumors tweeted out the Packers are expected to pursue Bengals T. Higgins in free agency. Go Pack Go. Now, obviously, this account here, some people like it, some people don't. I do know this. When you hear the Packers are always in the conversation for these type of signings, I think there's truth to it in the sense that, like Andrew Brandt said when he worked for the Packers, agents would call the Packers, go, hey, do you mind if we mention that you're interested in our guy? No, go ahead. And as Andrew Brandt said, from the Packers' perspective, it's always, would we mind if you mentioned us being interested to drive up the cost for someone else? No, go right ahead, right? It's Lions season. That's the point of the whole topic here, right, Tim? We talk about it all the time.
Yep.
There's going to be rumors kick up this time of year. And everybody's jockeying for position, obviously, to get leverage and drive up the price, even if they're not interested in the player. Right?
As if the price on T. Higgins needs to go any higher than it already is.
Overpriced.
Yeah. But you know what, though? It's so true what you're saying. It's that time of year. Like Jacob was saying, it's kind of, you're digging through the weeds here. Super Bowl week, you're trying to, talk to the league and drum up stories where you can. I don't know. I'm 50-50. I'd be lying if I didn't think that T. Higgins was on the radar for Goody. I mean, he has to be. He's probably one of the top free agents, if not the top free agent target, especially when it comes to receivers. So naturally, you're going to be caught up in the rumor mill. But I'm just hoping we go another route. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, and like who was it just said it? Not Chris N, 2-0 for this, said T. Higgins isn't even a wide receiver one. People need to chill. I can understand that argument, man. I really can, because if he was a true number one wide receiver, they wouldn't have been able to roll the covers the way they did on Jamar Chase. He should have absolutely blew up. Had a great PFF grade, don't get me wrong, but all the attention that Jamar Chase was drawing away from T. Higgins, I'm just not sold on him that much. Again, is he a great player? I think he's borderline very good to great for me. You're willing to overpay for great. You're not willing to overpay for good. So that's why I get a little bit nervous about it. And of course, the holdout, conversation there for 2 years in a row, all that stuff makes me real nervous. So again, there's your T. Higgins news of the day. There was one other thing I wanted to hit. Go ahead. Somebody had something? No? Okay. I thought I heard something. I'm over here hearing things. My bad. Okay, so
that was Goody calling Devontae Adams' agent and the Jets general management trying to figure something out.
Definitely. All right, so another tweet I put up, I did a poll question. We've got over 600 votes in there now. If you had to pick one of these players to be acquired by the Green Bay Packers, who would it be? The choices are Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, T. Higgins, or Devontae Adams. Here's the percentage in order of who was voted on the most here. 46% of the vote, Myles Garrett. 26.7% Max Crosby. 15.8% Devontae Adams. And 11.4% T. Higgins. It kind of surprised me that T. Higgins was so low, that he was the lowest of these four. It made me proud of the Packer fandom, though. I know that. So, obviously, Myles Garrett leads the way. Max Crosby coming in second. I want to know, what would you guys vote? I'll start with Emilio this time. Emilio, who would your vote be? And again, we're not talking specific compensation. It's just simply you can choose from one of these four players to add them to the roster. Who would it be?
Realistically, I think it has to be Tay. I mean, Myles Garrett is expensive, getting up there. Max is going to be another price. Like, we already have so many guys on the roster ready to get paid coming up that I wouldn't want to see picking up anybody that's going to be a 5-year deal for 30, 40 million. So I'm thinking pull the trigger on Tay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Randy Cleaver says Mac is not on the list. He was not on the list intentionally, Randy, for sure. You guys know that's my choice.
He would have got the love. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. We kind of already talked about that in the past, and man, I think the majority of fans are on board with that, especially it being a free agent signing as opposed to having to trade for a Myles Garrett, having to trade for a Max Crosby, that type of thing. But Tim, what do you think here, man?
Yeah, I'm going with Emilio's pick here. I say Tay. Even though T. Higgins is the only free agent on the list, technically speaking, but I think Tay would be the best move. It's funny though, when you look at these names, it's like if we went back a week or two, everyone would have been saying Max Crosby. That was the big name. Now of course Myles Garrett is the hot name on the list. Devontae is always going to be a hot name, and T. Higgins at the bottom of the list, rightfully so, where he belongs. So I think we'll see. We should run the same poll like a week or two from now and see what fans think. But my vote is definitely with Devontae for sure.
Yeah, Jake Shavink here in the chat says, when you go around the league and play the T. Higgins versus wide receiver X conversation, he isn't very high on the list, in my opinion, to be paying him $28 million. I completely agree, Jake. Completely agree. What's your take on this, Carly? Which player would you choose here?
I would choose Myles Garrett. I know he's like all the rage, people talking about him now, but when I'm not that great at evaluating how good players are, right? But when I watch the games and I've gone back, like I can see the difference that he makes, and he's just incredible at football. I don't care that he's expensive. We've seen what like having Xavier McKinney really did for the safety room back there, and how much of a difference that it makes. I think if we had someone just with his caliber of play on the defensive line, an edge rusher, like it could just turn everything around. It might be what we need to get us over the edge, and that's why I want him. Got it.
Jacob, sir. Don't you dare mention Brenton Cox Jr. either.
Well, all right, I'll leave Cox out of this one. But, there's a lot of people in the chat that are bringing up Hendrickson. I don't know if that's an actual guy that's in the mix, if he's a free agent, whatever. But if I had to decide what's more realistic in this list, I'd probably go like with Emilio and Tim and say Devontae. If I had to just close my eyes, click my heels 3 times, and I get my wish, I would honestly I'd love Max Crosby, and I know people want Garrett over Max. I just don't know why I love Max Crosby. I think the camaraderie with him and Jacobs and just all that kind of stuff would be great. But I don't realistically see a lot of this happening. To side with Randy real quick, we could get Mack and Adams for the price of Garrett. So me being the cheap skate, you know that I am, I want that discount deal. Sign me up every day of the week.
Get ready to go.
All right, there you go. Yeah, for me, if I had to choose between these four and I couldn't have a combination of anything in between, I would want Myles Garrett, me personally. I think that would make a much, much larger impact than Devontae Adams. But if you're saying, okay, choose one of these and you can do whatever else you want, for me, the perfect combination will be kind of in the middle and go Khalil Mack in free agency and land Devontae Adams. If you get Khalil Mack, I think you're getting just about as equal a player right now as Myles Garrett. That's my personal opinion, just based off the tape from the last 2 years. If you could get him and Tay Adams as opposed to just Myles Garrett, I think you're in a lot better situation there. Max Crosby, you guys know how I feel about that. I think he's a freak player. I think he's a great athlete, but I don't think he's nowhere near Myles Garrett. I really don't. And honestly, the impact that Khalil Mack has had here lately, I think Max Crosby's going to probably want a little bit extra money, a little bit more money moving forward, seeing how much younger he is than Khalil Mack. And I think it was the 33rd team we'll get to here in a minute. Matter of fact, I'll just mention it right now. The 33rd team actually put an article out saying one free agent that makes sense for every team, all 32 teams. This is who they picked for Green Bay Packers. Khalil Mack, edge defender, 2 years, $40 million. The Green Bay Packers desperately need to find a pass rusher opposite Rashawn Gary. Well, I thought we need to get rid of Rashawn Gary. And it's possible they'll wait until after the draft to fill that need, or until the draft to fill that need. But Green Bay is ready to win now. Their best option might be to pay big money for a 1 or 2 year rental. Khalil Mack missed some time in 2024 with injuries, but he is still highly productive whenever he is on the field. He'll be 34 during the 2025 season, but he can still produce elite numbers as a number 2 pass rusher. The fact that they can't double team both those guys, and you go in the draft and draft a 3-tech, whether it's a Walter Nolan or whoever falls in your lap there at 23, you couple him with Devontae Wyatt, who is definitely our most effective interior pass rusher, I think you can really wreak havoc on other offenses. I really do. So, again, I thought that was a pretty cool little exercise there. Now, we do have someone was asking about Trey Hendrickson. Is that right, Jacob?
Yes.
Cool. I've got an audio here from earlier today, I think it was, at Super Bowl Row. And this is –
On my knee.
This is on That's random. This is on First Take, and this is Shannon Sharpe. Or I'm sorry, Shannon Sharpe talking to Joe Burrow about Trey Hendrickson, because Trey Hendrickson,
that ain't no problem.
Well, perfect. Trey Hendrickson is still under contract, but I think the Bengals are trying to hold out on paying him. Here's what Joe Burrow had to say about that, Tim. If you'll give me a screen grab, maybe 10
What was that drop, by the way? Have I missed this one? What did I just hear?
Talking about the Shannon Sharpe one, bro?
That's Shannon Sharpe?
Old school.
Huh? That ain't no problem.
Well,
He was the best guy around.
Here was Shannon Sharpe talking to Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow speaking specifically on the Trey Hendrickson situation.
Like you said, we need Trey back. We need to give him what he's worth and what he deserves. He's earned that. And we need our young guys to come on. We need to draft well. We need guys to come in and produce immediately.
Yes.
We don't have time to wait around.
Right.
And I think we have the young guys that are capable of going into an off season, training the way that they need to, taking advantage of all the opportunities that they can, and come out and play well early.
I have to confess, I'm very worried about you with what you're saying. We got to keep Jamar Chase. We got to keep T. Higgins. We got to keep
Trey Hendrickson.
You got to keep a whole bunch. This is Cincinnati now. I mean, this is that ownership. You confident that they're going to be willing to keep all of those guys?
The cap is going up each year. We just got new TV deals, so the cap's going to continue to go up.
TV money. Yep.
And we all want to stay together, so we're all going to do what it takes to do that. And we have great players that have done great things and deserve to be paid. They're going to be paid what they're worth, whether we do it or somebody else. I hope we do it. I think we've had the discussions that the guys are going to get paid that need to get paid, and so it's a big offseason for the Bengals.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to let you
All right, there you go. So again, that was the Trey Hendrickson take there from our boy Joe Burrow.
Keep T. Higgins. Keep him. Pay that man. Re-sign him. Keep him home.
Please.
I love Stephen A. Smith too. Like he's trying to bait Burrow into talking crap about the ownership of the team that he plays for, and he wasn't having it. Yeah. I love it.
Trying to see what Trey Hendrickson's PFF grade was. Here you go, boys. 88.1. Wow, have mercy.
Hey-o.
So stud. Actually, the last 3 years. 88.1 this year, 82.3, 85, 72, 72, 63, 70, and 61. So, yeah, he literally he's done nothing but go up other than 2019 where he took a slight step back. He's improved every year. He's a solid player. But, again, man, you got to be willing to give up draft compensation if you're going to go get a player like that, right? There's no doubt. Josh Martin with the super chat. Do you think Sterling gets into the Hall of Fame tonight? What time is that happening, guys? When will we know that? Does anybody have that answer for me in the chat? Because
doesn't it start at 9?
I saw somebody say that they thought it was on, but they didn't have it on their TV. But I think it might be. I thought it was 8 Central, aka God's time.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Right after our show, we should know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully he gets
I'll tell you one thing about Sterling Sharpe.
He was the best guy around.
You got that right, sir. You got that right. Actually, he wasn't the best guy around for a little bit, right? He was holding out, playing hard to get there for the Packers, right? Yeah, Google says 8 p.m. Central Time, according to Drew. And again, Josh Martin, thank you for the super chat. I don't think anybody here disagrees that that Sterling Sharpe needs to be in the Hall of Fame, right? We're all on the same page there. So, all right, good deal. Because you would not be allowed back on this show if you said it. Let's see what else we got on Twitter. Do we have anything else? I think we're caught up there. So we actually had another comment. Want to give a shout out to who sent me a message here in our little Twitter group. Said, "Hey man, so I'm trying to think of an alternative to Myles Garrett because that's just not going to happen. I was watching Andy Herman break down Josh Sweat and Milton Williams and haven't heard of Williams until now, but he's the second-rated interior pass rusher and pressure behind just Chris Jones. He had 6 sacks. He's only 26 years old. I'm thinking he isn't talked about because of all the other names on the Eagles defense. Josh Sweat too, but Milton Williams sounds like a damn home run. He'd be a good name to bring up when people pester you about Myles Garrett." Thanks, bud. That's Crossfire there that sent the message over. He also says Williams' issue is run defense, but his high RAS is elite also. Josh Sweat also has a top RAS, averages 10 sacks a year, and is also good with run defense, turning 27 in March. Josh Sweat sounds like a more consistent player, someone that plays until the whistle. That sounds like more of a Packer guy to me. I could go on and on, but I don't want to annoy you. Have a good one. I appreciate you there, Crossfire. What's your all's take on that? Milton Williams, as Jake Shavink. You go ahead and read that, Jacob, and I'll get Milton Williams stuff.
Yeah, Shavink is saying that Milton Williams might be the under-the-radar impact guy this week against Caliendo at left guard. So I'm not going to put words in Shavink's mouth, but it sounds like he's saying that he's a pretty solid player. And, that age, 26, that's a great, undercover find. I think that's awesome. And we can dive into the numbers as Clayton pulls those up. But, younger guys still possibly has some tread left on the tires. And this is Frank Caliendo's at left guard. He is a good impressionist. I don't know if he's that good to be in the Super Bowl.
First thing I thought of, too, when you say Caliendo, I was like,
that's all I thought of. But, I would be personally quite open for that. It sounds like he's probably underrated, which means he's cheaper, if I'm not mistaken. So you guys know, again, I'm cheap. Bring it in.
Yeah, that's the thing. His PFF grade starting in 21. He's only been in the league 4 years. 49, 72.6, 69.7, 70.1. Again, Devontae Wyatt, I think he graded out like a 67, something like that. His tackle grade, his pass rush grade this year was great, right? But it's the first year that his pass rush grade was good, to be honest with you. His run defense had been good. Now his pass rush jumps up. His run defense takes a seat back. I'm okay with any of these guys for the right price. My question is, if he hits the open market, and I'm assuming he is going to be a free agent, you hit the open market, are you willing to overpay for him? Because typically when people hit the market, that's what it comes down to, right? So it is a fun prospect to think about. Emilio, you got anything to add to Milton Williams here, man?
6'3", 290, 25 years old. Just the run defense struggles. I feel like we have a pass rusher in Wyatt, right? I feel like that could be our guy in that. I mean, if he's a free agent and the price is right, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But you know, I still feel like you just keep drafting and pulling triggers inside there and just see what's going to happen, because I don't want to chase mid round. Like if I'm going into the free agency, I want to know like a kind of a known talent or somebody that's going to, you know, show up for the team. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Tim, this right here, man, like Jake Shavink says, 14 to 17 million per at least. To me, this guy looks like Devontae Wyatt.
Yeah.
All right. And we're getting Devontae Wyatt for pennies on the dollar with that rookie contract right now. I know he's a first-round pick, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, but to me, you got to swing bigger than this if you're gonna pay 14 to 17 million. You know what I mean?
I would agree, especially for someone who's going to grade out in the low to mid 70s and be nearly a liability when it comes to the run game. It's a lot of money. I think I'm with Emilio. I'd rather just go to the draft, roll the dice again.
Definitely. Carly, you got a take on this?
I have more of a question. I'm wondering, with this talk about RAS scores, like after they've been drafted, does the RAS score really even matter? Because do they ever recalculate it during the years that they play? Because you're talking about what they were measured at some point, 4 or 5 years ago.
Right. Now, the RAS score is just relative athletic score coming into the draft. That's it. That, to the best of my knowledge, it's not remeasured later. That's just going off of your measurables, your combine numbers, your pro day numbers, all that stuff, right? So, that's again, people like to go back and talk about the RAS because it's like, hey, here was his athletic score, right? He's an extremely elite dude, and we know Goody loves those guys that are extra athletic, right? So I think that's why he brought that up in the comment there. So, but to answer your question, it's just that's the RAS is tagged on a player when they come in the league.
So if you think of it as like a really high quality cheese or some, really, really great quality thing, you put it into mac and cheese, it's still just mac and cheese, no matter how good it is. So if that's where they are, I don't see it becoming elite.
I'm a big mac and cheese fan too, which by the way, the beer cheese mac and cheese at 1919 Kitchen and Tap with the elk stroganoff.
Dude.
But is it worth paying $50 a plate for? Would you pay $50 a plate for it?
The elk stroganoff?
The mac and cheese.
I would remortgage the house for elk stroganoff. Let me tell you, it's unbelievable. Cold beer.
I'd pay $50 if Tucker Kraft made it for me. I'd pay whatever he asked, and then I'd light his Marlboro for him, and I'd say, "Come on, man, let's go to the club."
The club.
The
most Caucasian way to say that. All right, so we got our Milton Williams talk in. We didn't have that on the bingo card, right? I'm glad we hit on it though. Let's see here. This next one was questions for the show. Go ahead, Jacob. What do you got? What you get?
Nothing. I can't. It's Emilio in the private chat.
Yeah,
we just blocked Emilio in the private chat.
Thank you. God.
I'm going to come in with my screen name, Tom Holman, tomorrow.
Emilio's like that kid in school that you couldn't sit next to because the teacher would be like, y'all got to separate. I'm putting one of you in the other room. That's me and Emilio. We are not allowed in the same class.
For sure.
Oh, man. There's been a couple of comments in here just mentioning specific prospects. Obviously, Kenneth Grant got mentioned. I thought this was interesting. It came from Todd Larson in our questions for the show. On our Patreon group. If you guys aren't in our Patreon group, you would like to join, just go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. We got a multitude of chats in there. You can get your questions read on the show, that type of thing. It's just a way for you to support the show and us to include you in the show in that regard. Jake Shavink says Darius Alexander season, which, man, did that dude improve his stock during the All-Star week, right? He absolutely lit it up. So, yeah, that's a name that's definitely heating up as well. But Todd Larson said, what do you think of this mock? I tried to stay true to the big board you shared while meeting the needs I perceived that the Packers need to address. So here is his mock draft. We'll read it off, and I want to get your all's take on it. With the 31st pick, he took Kenneth Grant, all right? With the 54th pick, he took Jack Sawyer, edge defender out of Ohio State. With the 63rd pick, he went Ariante Ursary out of Minnesota, offensive tackle. With the 87th pick, he went Azare Thomas, cornerback out of Florida State. 123 went Kobe Bryant, cornerback out of Kansas. 160, Jalen Noel, wide receiver out of Iowa State. 200, Seth McLaughlin, offensive. It says center here from Ohio State. I don't know much about him. We need to look him up. 239.
158 on the board. Interior alignment is what we have him as.
You said 158?
Yeah.
Wow, that's good value then, right? At 200, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Zachary Franklin, wide receiver out of Illinois. So he double dipped in wide receiver. I like him. Maybe a little aggressive. And you know I love this 251st pick was Riley Leonard, quarterback out of Notre Dame. And just go ahead and plan on him being on the practice squad. It'll be totally fine. We'll pay the guy. He'll just hang out over there and keep So
can I comment on this real quick? I think that
no,
this is
absolutely not.
Sorry, I'll
go ahead, Jake.
I think that this is honestly an awesome draft. I would be over the moon. The only thing that I would honestly replace is I would replace what Clayton just highlighted. I would replace Riley Leonard and I'd go Mark Weir. Lock in, get those trenches locked in, baby. Or but Zachary Franklin is an interesting prospect. I've been falling more and more in love with Pat Bryant the more I've looked at his measurables and where he's at in almost every statistical category that we care about. The drops, the yak, the yards per catch, all that kind of stuff, his size. But Zachary Franklin was quietly a really great number 2. And I feel the same way about Jalen Noel. We're all talking about Jaden Higgins, which obviously Tim's in love with. But I think that that's a great, sneaky late round pick for wide receiver in the later rounds there. I think it's awesome. I love going the back-to-back corners that he did. I love Irsay. We talked about him. And you guys know I'm a Jack Sawyer fanboy. So let's go.
I like Jack Sawyer too, man. I think somebody's going to get a hell of a football player there for sure. Amelia, what do you think about this draft right here, man? I know you're on board with the McLaughlin pick there at Ohio State.
Yeah. I do like the draft. Seriously, I'd like to know what he gave up for the trade back to pick up the extra 2 picks. But I do really like it. I like that he was able to, if the board still looked right, trade back to get to 31. And maybe that was it. Maybe he just gave that up and go. But I do like it. You covering kind of all your bases there. Double dip at corner, double dip at wide receiver, bring in some competition. Maybe just, I really don't know. Maybe just one more D lineman or an edge or something, but it's about it.
Yeah, the only thing I really notice here, Tim, is linebacker. That's what sticks out to me. But other than that, Kenneth Grant's our 10th best prospect. You got him at 31. Jack Sawyer fairly high on the board as well. I know Ursary was one that was toward the top for us for a while. I think he had recently dropped. Jack Sawyer is in the 46th spot. Ursary is at 49. Our boy got who is this again? Todd Larson got great value in this draft. But Tim, other than linebacker, what do you think about this, man?
Yeah, A-, B+ type of grade on this one from me. I think Kenneth Grant that's an awesome pick. So is Sawyer. And then, like Emilio said, double dipping at DB and wide receiver. Jalen Noel is probably, one of a handful of, the smaller build receivers, slot kind of guys that I really liked in this draft class. So I really like the Jalen Noel pick at 160 there. And I do think, it's pretty realistic to think that if Riley Leonard's on the board late in the draft, I wouldn't put it past the Packers to draft him or any quarterback that they have on their radar for that matter. So I think it's a really good draft.
Nice. Carly, anything to add here?
Well, I have the caveat that Jack Sawyer is really the only one of the players that I know anything about. But given Goody's tendency just to get really good value with undrafted free agents, even like with wide receiver and stuff, I would like it if they really focused on the trenches, good O-line, D-line, and some linebacker. But this is cool. I just don't want him to get any wide receivers because I really want us to have a better O-line.
I understand that completely. I get it. And again, he went pretty heavy trenches here, right? Got 4 trench players, 2 on offense, 2 on defense.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see where we could maybe add another offensive lineman in there as well. But again, linebacker is the big thing for me because we're going to have to have contribution on special teams. And if Eric Wilson and McDuffie are not here next year, that makes me a little more, along with Zane Anderson possibly not being here, that makes me a little more concerned about special teams. Jake?
You know what? I was going to actually, it's funny you brought up linebacker because I've been trying to create a list of kind of like my guys that are in the later rounds. Jay Higgins out of the linebacker out of Iowa is my favorite. We've talked about Jalen Walker, but have you looked at Teddy Buchanan? Seemingly he's falling, the guy from Cal. He just seems like a really well-rounded linebacker as well. I agree. If we could pepper in one of those guys, any of those guys into that lineup, man, I tell you, we could have something special.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Emilio, where's Teddy Buchanan at on our board?
200.
200? Because I know on the with PFF grades, he was pretty high up, right? Looked good.
Yeah,
It was just
he was pretty consistent, 22, 23, 24. He dropped to 120, but it was just his big board grades that brought him down.
PFF big board is at 260 right now.
Yeah, there you go. If we were to sort by position here real quick and look at our linebackers in order, our top linebacker is Jahad Campbell, linebacker out of Alabama, then Carson Swisinger, linebacker out of UCLA, Demetrius Knight Jr. out of South Carolina, Chris Paul Jr. out of Ole Miss, then Jay Higgins. So, yeah, Jacob, we're on board with you there, man. He's our, fifth best linebacker in the draft. Jack Kaiser a couple spots behind him. Obviously, Stutzman ahead of Jack Kaiser, right behind Jay Higgins. Any of these guys, I found myself getting pretty excited about, man. I really
Cody
did.
Simon, too, underrated, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. From Ohio State, obviously, 100th graded linebacker in 23, jumped all the way to 13 this year. The thing that's bringing him down is that consensus big board having him at 212 and the PFF big board having him at 132, which is still wild to me. 13th highest graded linebacker in all of college football, and he's 132 on their big board, So very interesting. Tim, anything else you want to add to this conversation? We talking linebacker here, Bo.
No, not really. I think, Emilio really nailed this board this year, and we've got a lot of info here in this crop that we've put together, man. I think, spot on with the input, and not just Emilio, really everybody, you too, Clayton, Jacob, we're all kind of giving our 2 cents in building this board and then kind of comparing things across, other analysts and stuff. But I think I'm a little higher on Jack Kaiser out of Notre Dame than most. He's a guy that I could see the Packers possibly going after, although he doesn't have the Emilio trademark cheese emoji. So I don't know if we've actually talked about it or not. But of the guys that we've met with, I'm in the process of kind of doing a film study on Carson there and Cody. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to linebacker, I think again we got to land 2 of these guys. We got to, and hopefully we're able to get them a little later in the draft. I think that would be ideal for us for sure. What do you guys think?
Jack Kaiser, DJ was talking about how he was playing safety at the end of the Senior Bowl game.
So interesting. Yeah, because we talked about that's his knock, right? Was he's a little undersized as a backer, but boy, this is what's crazy about the RAS. If you put him in at linebacker RAS, it might not be through the roof because of his weight, right?
Yep.
But if you put him at safety, it's going to skyrocket him up the RAS.
I don't know. Now I'm back down on Jack Kaiser now. I
don't like
this is Tyreek or Tariq Carpenter all over again.
That's true.
Hey.
That's a great point, Tim. It's a great point.
I don't think Tyreek graded anywhere near how well Jalen did, though, right?
That's true. That's true.
What do you guys think about this?
We're talking about Kaiser, though, right? Not Jalen Walker.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah. Same difference, though, right? Like he didn't grade that well, did he? I mean, Kaiser was look at 23. I mean,
well, it's kind of inverse, right? Because wasn't Tariq a safety that they dropped down into linebacker, or was it the other way around?
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think so.
So Kaiser would be the opposite way. He'd be a linebacker going to safety. So who knows?
What do you guys think about this? The other night, and you know what? For hour 1, that's going to do it, guys. We'll see you on the other side for hour 2 over on the pod. We appreciate y'all. All right. So that's hour 1. What do you guys think about doing a quick mock draft? And you know how the other day we made ourselves take corner. Remember that?
Yeah. Jacob disappears.
This time we're trading up and we're taking Mason Graham with the 5th pick overall.
Dang. All right. Yeah, we really want to try to make that happen?
I don't know why. What were we going to say?
I have a question before we do that.
Yeah.
I think this is a good time to go with this. So when I look at like what the Eagles are doing different right now, as far as like making it to the Super Bowl multiple times in a fairly short period of time. And I was thinking about Goody's draft. Sorry, a lot of like thought went into this, but I'm wondering, so the Packers have these kind of standards, this height, certain weight for certain positions. And this is just this is the Packer way, right? This is the way Goody's been trained to draft. And, they say if you make an exception for one position, pretty soon all you have is a team full of exceptions. But how do you think Goody does in making picks, like when identifying the people where you need to make that exception? Because even if maybe one measurable is off or two, they have the instinct, or they have that football IQ. They have like the thing that sets them apart, being a great football player. Have you seen Goody have made an exception and have it turn out great?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you're preaching to the choir here. I'm much more towards what's the tape show, and Goody has been on the record saying the tape is the most important part, right? But his draft record kind of suggests otherwise, right? It seems like, especially in the first round, it's go get the athletic freak, right? I think we should press a little more into who's the better football player as opposed to, wow, look at this upside. That's just me personally. I don't know. You guys got to take on that, Emilio, Tim?
Yeah, just you get different guys who are practice guys and game guys, and then you can kind of see a different function from those practice guys that are tearing it up in one-on-ones but struggle when they have people bump and run next to them. You got a guard that gets cooked in one-on-ones but is completely fine when he goes out in team drill because he's got a center and a tackle next to him. So I just think it's kind of a little bit of both, a blend, and then you got to see upside and potential. That's why it's a guessing game, and we just hope that Goody's good at it with the team.
Yeah. Yep. Tim, it kind of goes hand in hand with what Michael Lombardi says too, that they would have card players. And he mentioned a guy specifically from Cleveland. And he was like, what a card player is in practice, you hand them the card and go, here's the play we're running, okay? This is what we're doing. All right, cool. And they go out there and they do it and they dominate. But when you're actually out there and the bullets are live and the offense is adjusting and they're hot routing and they're canning to another player, they're doing a slight shift, hey, let's just change this protection up one touch. They cannot adjust. They don't know what the heck's going on, how that changes their assignment. It's just they have to be single focused, right? I think there's a lot to that, man, that there is such a thing as card players there too. But Tim, do you got anything to add to that, what we were just saying?
No, just going off of what you said. I mean, it's so true. We see guys with freak athletic ability, but they can't grasp the pro game and they don't last long. And it doesn't matter what position group you're talking. You're right. Some guys are just card players and they end up on practice squads and they end up on 1 year prove it deals, season after season throughout their career and kind of fade into the background, regardless of where they were drafted at. So it's, being a GM is a lot like being a hitter in baseball. Even the best hitters in baseball hit the ball 30% of the time. It's really tough to just crush a draft year after year. So hopefully this is the year Goody knocks it out of the park with a first rounder. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's do it. Let's hit a mock draft real quick, guys. Let's get this thing rolling here. So here's the rule. This last mock draft that we did, we went cornerback first. We made ourselves go cornerback first. We traded back twice because we liked kind of how the cornerback room fell. This time, what position are we making ourselves take first in the draft? Whether it's the first round or we trade out and go to the second round, what position of need do we want to make ourselves draft the first in this draft? I'm open to anything here, too.
Either tackle or guard or interior line and versatile, maybe O-line. I don't know.
Okay, so you want to just say O-line in general?
Unless we got other options. So we've been diving into a lot of D-line. I wouldn't be opposed to taking another guy to build that wall in front of Jordan. So I'm completely fine with that.
All right, cool. Let's go O-line. You good with that, Tim?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. And we're not going to trade up on this one, right? We're just going to trade back. So
the only time I want to trade up is if we're going up to get it if we're going up to get Mason Graham.
And we need to do one of those mocks soon where we'll go, okay, we're just going to run it in slow, pause it. Who's on the board? Okay, let's skip one pick, pause it. Who's on the board?
Definitely.
And try to line it up that way. We'll do that later. So here we go. O-line has to be the first pick. We'll see if it makes sense to trade back or not. Just a quick recap of who's been taken. Cam Ward goes number 1 quarterback. Travis Hunter, cornerback, goes 2. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders goes 3. Will Campbell, tackle, goes 4. Tetero McMillan goes 5, wide receiver. Edge defender Abdul Carter goes 6. Edge defender James Pierce Jr. goes 7. Defensive lineman Mason Graham goes 8. Like right there, Emilio.
Yeah.
That'd be a situation that when we got the pick 6 and say, let's see if we could trade up and get Mason Graham, right? Anywhere
from 5 to 8 is where you're probably going to want to be trading up to go get him, I would think.
we'll do one of those soon for sure. Number 9, you got Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan. Number 10, you got Malachi Stark, safety out of Georgia. Number 11, you got Ty Warren, tight end out of Penn State. Number 12, you got tackle Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. 13, Ashton Gianti to the Dolphins there out of Boise State, halfback. Number 14, Luther Burden III, wide receiver out of Missouri. Number 15, wide receiver Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. Mikael Williams, edge defender out of Georgia, goes 16. Kelvin Banks Jr., tackle out of Texas, goes 17. Mike Green, edge defender out of Marshall, goes 18. Benjamin Morrison, cornerback out of Notre Dame, goes 19. Walter Nolan, defensive lineman, Ole Miss, goes 20. Armand Mimbo, tackle out of Missouri, goes 21. And Matthew Golden, wide receiver, goes 22.
Emilio nailed it. What a great way to do this draft, right? Look at all the defense that flew off the board. We should have our pick here at interior O-line.
Really sure. Let's go offensive tackle. We'll go interior offensive line. Here are the
Nimble
best.
would have been the guy. If we had 2 drops right there, I would have been sprinting.
No doubt. So the best available according to PFF Big Board here is Gray Zabel, tackle out of North Dakota State, tackle Josh Connerly out of Oregon, guard Tyler Booker out of Bama, tackle Ariante Ursary out of Minnesota, tackle Donovan Jackson out of Ohio State, and tackle Cameron Williams out of Texas. We'll scroll on down here and see if anybody else grabs our attention. Of these top guys here, Emilio, Gray Zabel's fairly low on our board, right?
Yes.
I want to say in the 60s.
See, Zabel was 60. 60. Ursary was 49.
Okay.
Who else do we have here?
What about Connerly? Where's Connerly's 22, right? Yep. Josh Connerly's 22, so he's the highest so far.
Yep.
Where's Tyler Booker at?
Booker would be 38.
38.
So I think it's got to be Connerly if we're following the board.
Yeah, Malum's a little bit lower, right? Wyatt Malum, tackle out of West Virginia.
Right. But if we like Gray Zabel and we like Josh and you know, we would be okay with going back a little. That's where you could trade back. But I didn't know if we were doing that.
Yeah, to me, Josh Connerly is hands down your best offensive lineman available here, right? Josh Simmons is not available. He was already taken, correct?
And
he was already taken.
Mimbo just won.
Yeah. So would anybody be opposed to Josh Connerly Jr., offensive tackle out of Oregon State? Again, he's our 22nd best prospect. 33rd team has him in the 11th spot. Daniel Jeremiah has him at 38 in his top 50. PFF Big Board had him at 25. Pretty solid prospect. I mean, I would be okay with them taking him right here. If we don't take him here, then we're looking to trade back for a lesser talented offensive lineman. It's not like, hey, we've got a better offensive lineman sitting later in the draft. You know what I mean?
Right, that's true.
No, we're not ignoring the chat. I'll bring it up. Greg S. Is wondering, is it worth picking a guy who may play center in the first?
From what I heard, DJ has said there are no centers that are worth anything in the first probably 50 to 100 picks. I think he was saying he's been trying to dig for a kind of a late round center that's going to be worth something. But it's not like last year with JPJ and the West Virginia center, Zinter, I think it was. So all those guys, I'm not seeing it this year.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is Gray Zabel is the best center in the draft. That's what I'm hearing. And he's listed as a tackle.
Right.
Obviously, he flashed as center. So, with that being said, he's much lower on our board. If we're sticking to our board, if we're going in another direction, that's different. Tim, what do you think about this, man?
With Connerly, my only question is, are we drafting him to play tackle? Because if we're drafting him to kick him inside, we're rinse, wash, and repeat the Jordan Morgan pick from last year. We're doing the same thing. We're taking another tackle in the first round, and we're going to try and make him a guard.
Yeah. And that's what the Packers do, though. That's what they do.
How's that working out for us?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jordan Morgan got hurt, right? So
right, but
we didn't really get to see the project. But
I mean, I like it because beyond Rasheed Walker, like, who's the backup left tackle?
I like that it bring a lot of competition to Rasheed.
Yeah. And
he came in hot this past year and worked hard, right, to get to where he was. But I think you get somebody drafted behind him, light a little fire, and then he can fight for an interior spot. I mean,
yeah, I'm not pushing back on this pick at all. I'm just, that's where my head goes. I think we should take him. He's the highest we have on our grades we had him at 22, you said, on our board,
Yeah,
and we're
he's
taking him at
22.
23. I mean,
it's the one that makes the most sense. But
Yeah.
again, if we're saying no, I want to get just a true interior offensive lineman to play interior offensive line. That's now you're okay. If you go offensive line here, where's the hole? The hole is center, right? I think we would all agree that's going to be the biggest hole is center. So if we take another offensive line and a lineman and they can compete for left guard along with Jordan Morgan or whoever, Sean Ryan, whichever one it is, you kick Elton to center. That's kind of the game plan if you go this route.
Right.
Now, if we're thinking it needs to be a true interior offensive lineman,
then we trade back.
Yeah, and I think Tyler Booker would probably be the best in terms of like Daniel Jeremiah, people like that. But on our board, I want to say Tyler Booker was a little lower. He's in the 38 spot for us, but DJ's got him at 14. So Tyler Booker will not be there when we pick. That's for sure. Again, right? I mean, most likely his average draft position is 51. So if we're making ourselves take an offensive lineman, you're either taking Gray Zabel, and it's a reach according to our board, right, to play center, because that was the whole story coming out of the Senior Bowl, right? Was he's the best center in the draft. I think Dane Brugler, a couple other people were saying that. Josh Connerly, you can do the whole Jordan Morgan experiment, or Tyler Booker, and just you've got strictly a interior offensive lineman to compete there, right? So those are really the three options if we're making ourselves go this route. Ursery's a little lower, right? I think I already asked you that.
Yeah, he was 50 or 49 or 50.
Yeah, so that wouldn't make sense. So that's the three that it comes down to. Gray Zabel, who would be a reach. So I think we would, which if you guys are good with it, I'm good with it. Whatever y'all want to do. Josh Connerly, a tackle that we're going to try to kick inside, or Tyler Booker, a true guard. Those are kind of our three options there. What do y'all think?
I say Connerly or trade back.
Yeah.
Connerly or trade back?
Yeah.
Emilio, what do you think?
That's where I would probably be. Connerly or trade back to late first round, 28, 20, 27, 28, 30, and then pull whoever is out of those three. I mean, if you trade back to the Ravens, you got 4 spots, and you're thinking there's, 50% chance that one of them's left.
Right. And that is the first trade there with Baltimore for 27. What do you think, Carl? You want to trade back, or you want to pick one of these three?
I want to trade back.
Trade back. All right, it's pretty unanimous. All three of you mentioned trading back. So let's go for pick 27. We're going to give them 23, and let's see if they'll give us 59. They said get out of here. They will give us 91. So do we want to sweeten the pot to get 59, or do we want to just go with 91 there? Call it good.
We'll call it good. We probably need to give him like a 7th. We only have 1 7th. I thought we had our 2.
Yeah. They'll definitely accept this trade right here. There's no problem there. So,
I would take the 2. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So right here, we're going to give up the 23rd pick. We're going to trade back for the 27th and the 91st, right?
Let's go.
All right, here we go. They accepted, of course. All right. Now, the Baltimore Ravens took Kenneth Grant, defensive lineman out of Michigan. The Vikings went Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina, halfback. Tyleik Williams went number 25. Shamar Stewart, edge defender, went 26. We're on the clock, and guess what, boys? All of them are still there.
So I guess now we have to take Connerly, I feel like.
Yeah, me too.
Now it's a guarantee, right?
That's a problem, though, because then you're like,
hey, looky here. Hold up a second.
Jack Sawyer.
Get Jack Sawyer. We're taking an offensive line. She's turned into Tim this draft. Remember when we were saying we got to take a corner? Tim was like, "You got to go defensive line." We're not allowed to. Right? So I don't think we want to trade back, right? So is that what we're thinking? Then we're going Josh Connerly here.
Yeah, my vote's Connerly. Yeah,
okay.
I think that's the best bet. Yeah, go Connerly, and then the only other way would be finagling it too much. I would just say go Connerly, take the best on the board. We already got some capital, and keep moving.
All right, we're going Josh Connerly, tackle out of Oregon. We're getting the 22nd player on our board, right? And we're getting him at pick 27. Pretty good value there. So, bang, it's in the books. All right, so we got our we got our offensive lineman there. Now at pick 55, what do we want to load the board here with? All the needs, wide receiver. We'll throw offensive line up again. We'll throw corner on there. We're going to go D-line. edge, and linebacker. Pretty much just about every pick on the board here. Look who's available. Jaden Higgins. He keeps popping up there in the second round, don't he?
Mhm.
So Omar Norman Lott, defensive lineman out of Tennessee. Jaden Higgins, wide receiver out of Iowa State. Donovan Jackson, tackle out of Ohio State. Derek Harmon, defensive lineman out of Oregon. Jordan Birch, edge defender out of Oregon. Cameron Williams, tackle out of Texas. Emilio, where do we have Omar Norman Lott? He's kind of low on the board.
He is
right?
130. Whoops. 131.
What about Derek Harmon?
He is 29.
Are we going to draft 2 Oregon Ducks to start this draft?
Why not?
Yes.
Man?
He's
Why
actually
not?
28, Tim. He's actually 28.
Hold the
That's
trigger.
such good-
Run the card down. Let's go.
I think so.
Now, let me ask y'all if y'all want to get greedy here. All right. We're going to get grimy. Derek
Birch
Harmon,
is 78.
his average draft position for Derek Harmon has been 66.9. Should we try to trade back, or do we even risk it? That value is so good, man. So good where it's at right now. Let's see what the trade is. We're sitting at what, pick 55?
Mhm.
And yeah, all the way back to 75, not happening.
Not happening.
I'm good with Derek Harmon if everybody else is. Carly, you
like
signing
that.
off on this? Defensive lineman Derek Harmon. We're getting another top 30 pick here.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Jake Shavink says Darius Alexander. Let's see where he's at here. Darius Alexander is available. His average draft position is 105.3. We are picking 55th right now. Where do we have Darius Alexander on our board?
122. He's just above Omar Norman Lott.
Gotcha. So we got him kind of right where they've pretty much got him, right? Well,
Mhm.
they've actually got him a little bit higher than we do. They got him at 105. All right, cool. Let's do it, boys. Let's go.
Because Omar's a nose tackle, right? More or less. Pull him up real quick. Norman
Omar?
Lott, yeah.
No, he's a 3 tech and he plays.
He just
over
didn't get a
tackle.
lot of reps, dude. That's not a lot of playing time. 200 snaps a season is not a lot.
I agree. Going from 71.6 to a 69.4, to me, there's a little bit of a question there. The big games, too, at Ohio State, a 55.1. Yuck.
Florida.
At Georgia, 58.4. Yuck. All right.
So do we trade back and try and get Alexander?
Man, we'd have to
Because-
go way back. We can't make Darius Alexander make sense for our board, I don't think. Do you
Yeah,
agree?
I would say Harmon and run.
Harmon and run. All right.
Let's do it.
All right, we're going Derek Harmon, defensive lineman out of Oregon with the 55th pick. I like it. I like the way this is shaping up. All right, pick 87. Let's load them back up here. Let's go wide receiver. Let's go. There's Trey Harris. I already seen him off the bat. Let's go offensive tackle, interior offensive line. Let's go corner. Let's go D-line. We already took a D-line. We'll take that off, okay? And then let's go edge and linebacker. Best available tackle, Anthony Belton. Out of North Carolina.
147.
Okay. Wide receiver, Tez Johnson out of Oregon.
He is 83rd.
Why not draft another Oregon Duck? 3 in a row.
He's more of a slot speedy guy. He's fast. He's real fast.
Yeah, didn't have very many wide snaps, that's for sure. He is a quick one, though. Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. Man, solid. That's a big body in it, Tim.
Yep,
6'3".
know it.
6'3", 210. Where's Trey Harris on our board, Emilio? Wide receiver.
Trey is 42nd.
Boy, that's great value there. Trey Harris
It
is the
is.
top pick for me right now. Kamon Rucker. I don't even remember hearing that name. He's got to be.
He's like an edge. Yeah, let's see. Rucker is. It's 164.
164. All right. So
It's
Tate-
Trey Harris all day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Trey
let's
Harris
see
is
what-
our best.
What was Trey Harris's grade again?
43rd, 42nd, 43rd.
Yeah, Tate Ratledge would be next. He's at 57. So yeah, I'm on board here with Trey Harris for sure. Anybody disagree with Trey Harris here, wide receiver out of Ole Miss?
Negative.
Carly said Jack Sawyer's already gone, so it don't matter.
I want
So
all
there-
D-line, linebackers, and O-line. That's it. Just a full draft of O-line, D-line, and edge.
Hey,
and
I
linebackers.
am not opposed to that at all.
We'd be
Trey
just fine.
Harris, wide receiver out of Ole Miss, is the pick at 87. I think that's great value there. All right, so now we got our wide receiver. We won't select that again. Let's go offensive line again. Corner we have completely neglected, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go edge and let's go linebacker. So cornerback, you got Mello Dotson and Kobe Bryant. Matter of fact, let's see if anybody popped. Tate Ratledge is still there. Holy cow! At pick 91, we get Tate Ratledge, and he's 57th on our board. That's got to be the best pick so far.
Yeah.
Um,
Melo's 142.
Okay. What about Kobe Bryant?
Kobe's 186.
Okay. I keep thinking Kobe is higher on our board. Let's see the next corner. Noel Williams, Nohl.
Noel is.
I think we take
191.
Tate
Do we go O-line here and see if we can grab a corner at 160 or 123?
I feel like the way our board falls, we don't have a shot. We don't have any chance. You know, like we don't have any choice, I should say. You got to take Tate Ratledge here. I mean, that dude it's a solid value here, man. Tate Ratledge, 57 on our board, and getting him at 91. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
That good. And we'll be done with O-line. You know what I mean? We'll just call that good. So, all right, Tate Ratledge out of Georgia. For what feels like the 15th year in a row, we're going to take a Georgia Bulldog. I like it. So, Tate Ratledge is the pick there. So you got some serious competition on the interior now, man. Could you imagine that camp? Josh Connerly Jr., right? Tate Ratledge, Jordan Morgan, and Sean Ryan all competing.
Especially if Big E moves to center.
Oh, my God. If Big E moves to center, I'd be over the freaking moon, man.
Yeah.
Gosh, that'd be awesome.
Right, because Travis Glover's going in at starting left tackle. So whoever's going to take this
That's exactly right. Let's go corner, edge, and linebacker. Look at the top of the board, Mr. Jack Kaiser.
Look at that safety up there. Attaboy.
No, first of all, we're taking Zy Alexander with this pick, right?
Let's see. I'm going to look right now. I'm going to look right now, sir, if I can get
Where is he out on the
It's
board?
Oladapo's cousin.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
Oladapo's cousin, Oladejo.
No cussing.
Zy is 93rd on our board.
Who is?
Zy's 93 on our board.
93, and we get him at what? 123?
Yeah. Where's Jack Kaiser?
He is swimming at the bottom. Let's see.
104.
105. 104, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so let's just do a quick check. Quincy Riley, he's lower on our board, right? And Elijah Huzzy is as well. I'll check Huzzy. You check the other one. Do we even have Huzzy on our board? I don't think we do. Wow, we don't. So we need to get him on our board. Let me write him down. Elijah Huzzy. Love that we're still finding players. It's absolutely. We got a board with 600 people on it. We're still finding players we need to add. Elijah Huzzy. And he's a corner. So, yeah, I mean, this makes all the sense in the world, right? We need to go with who's the corner we mentioned? Zy Alexander.
Yep.
He was
Great
the
value
best guy around.
What murder? All right, Zy Alexander is going to be the pick. His average draft position is 89.4. We're getting him at 123. And on our board, again, he was in the top 80 or top 90. Is that right?
Yep.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah,
So,
92.
92. There you go. Great value there. Zy Alexander, cornerback out of LSU, is the pick. All right, now pick 160. So we got our corner. Of course, we could use another corner, so we better throw it back in there again.
Corner, linebacker, edge.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. Linebackers dominating the board early other than Dorian Strong. Cody Simon, we just talked about him a second ago. Cody Simon on our board is in the 149 spot, so that's about where we're at here. That's decent value. Lindenberg is 301. Stutzman is 101. So Stutzman so far the best pick here. Emilio, can you look up some corners for me? I'm going to keep Stutzman marked.
Yeah.
Look up Dorian Strong, cornerback out of Virginia Tech, if you don't care.
Dorian Strong, 150. He
O'Donnell
is
Fortune.
cornerback outside.
O'Donnell Fortune, cornerback.
O'Donnell Fortune, 237.
Longer Beam, cornerback out of Rutgers. That's just his last name, Longer Beam.
Longer Beam, 333.
Okay. I
Jalen
think
Smith.
there's Jay Higgins. But that's a little later there, maybe. A little too sweet for picking right now.
Jay Higgins, 98.
Is he really?
On our board, yeah.
So he's higher than Stutzman. Yeah. So if Jay Higgins' average draft position is 178, we have no trades, no trade offers, so we can't cheat here. Do we just? It's going to look like a reach to PFF, but boy, we're getting great value if we take Jay Higgins here. Right?
Draft the players you like, watch them play.
Yeah, Jay Higgins.
Yeah,
it's between Jay Higgins and Stutzman, right?
Yeah,
what we're thinking here.
I'd go Higgins then.
I agree.
Stutzman does have a 94 card though on college football, so I don't know.
Let's see if we can. Should we try to force a trade here? Let's see here. We're at 160, right? Where will we feel comfortable getting Jay Higgins at?
I think he was like 170. They were pulling him
178. So if we go back to
10
what do you think?
spots, 12 spots.
Let's play it even safer. Let's go 165. All right.
Trade with the Texans there. Either Browns or Texans, 165 or 167.
Let's go 167. All right. We want 167. We're going to give them 160. They only got one more pick left that they'll have there. So I don't like that. We're kind of getting bottlenecked.
We don't like you that, Jan.
Perfect. I would say run it.
If we go 165, right, and we want 192, they say, get away from me with that crap. We could go 200. No. So if we wanted to trade up, actually it would take they are not having it. Look at this, boys.
I told you I would have ran with what the Texans gave you.
You serious?
I mean, you're going to get I feel like the same thing from the Browns, right? 242. I feel like it was the same thing.
All right, so we get 165 and 242.
That works.
Let's see here, 167 and 243. So, yeah, it's close. You're right, but let's go 165. That'll ensure that we get Jay Higgins. I feel comfortable. Watch him get drafted or get taken out. All right, so we could try to go 192. Of course, they would do that, right? What if we get crazy here? Nah, ain't gonna happen. All right. So what did we say? 242? Is that what we said, or 257?
Yeah, 242.
242. And they ain't gonna do 257. All right, cool. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna trade back 5 spots, and we're gonna pick up another 7th round pick, right? So I like it. You good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Let's see if Jay Higgins is still there when we pick. Yes, sir. He is. Oh, we got a trade offer. Who is this? 189. Nah. Ain't happening.
Nah.
All right, we're going to go linebacker, Jay Higgins, right? Out of Iowa. Danny Stutzman's still there. Wow. All right, Jay Higgins it is, right? We good? Look at Emilio laughing.
They wants to trade back one more time.
Who does?
You do.
I want to kind of push the limits a little bit, I ain't going to lie, but we better take our guy.
What was that number for the trade? What were they going to give us?
What are you talking about?
For that one trade up there right now. What?
Oh, it's 189. Yeah. Yeah, let's just go Jay Higgins.
Take him.
All right, we're going Jay Higgins, linebacker out of Iowa. We keep drafting him, and its value is always so good there according to our board. Watch him suck as a pro. Of course, that's how that'll be. But pick 199. What do we need to load up into the board now, fellas?
Corner.
Yeah.
Corner and safety. Some of our slot safeties. Let's see if anyone's floating around out there.
Yeah, people are going to hear safety and they're going to get mad. But again, guys, we're talking about guys who have slot experience at the safety position. And there is precedent for it, right? So let's go down the line here real quick. Do we need another linebacker too, right? So we might as well throw that up there as well. Okay,
edge.
so
any edge?
Let's see here. Yeah, let's throw them up there.
Just in case we don't get Max Crosby,
All right, let's see if we can find some slot snaps here. Here's a slot guy, Elijah Clark with an A, Emilio. What do we have?
380.
380. Okay, that's a no-go. Jason Marshall Jr. He's not a slot. Never mind.
314.
RJ Mickens has got 312 box snaps and 89 slot snaps. So
326. Packers met with him, though, from Clemson.
I knew I'd heard that name. Let's see where edge defender Fadil Diggs is. Can't imagine he's too high. Fadil.
Fadil, 251.
Okay. Hunter Waller has some slot experience. Safety out of Wisconsin. Man, look at that 2020. What is he? 276.
Mm-hmm.
Look at his PFF grade in 2023, 89.2. Golly. Nobody's really popping out here, are they?
No.
Aubrey Banks, he's got slot experience. Aubrey Banks, what do you got him at, Emilio?
Burks or Banks? West Virginia?
I'm sorry, Burks. Yeah.
331.
Man, these are all dookie. There's Jalen Walker. I feel like he should be fairly.
Oh yeah, I think he's pretty good. I don't know. Is he the 300? Let's see.
Is he real? What's bringing him down, man?
Hold on, let me see.
Because his PFF grades are just off the freaking charts, man.
Spelling it wrong. What is it? JAI.
90, 80, and 82.
He's actually 148.
Is he really?
Yeah.
So I think
I would pull the if we're looking at it like round 6 and 7, our special teamers, I wouldn't be opposed to taking another linebacker, Jalen Walker type.
We need another.
Though we don't still have a corner, that's our only other issue. But where we're at on the board right now, I like the linebacker better.
That's great value there, for sure. Jalen Walker. His average draft position is 221. We could trade back to 210. Let's do it. You want to?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go for 210. We're going to trade 199. We're going to try to pick up another late pick. Yeah, we can get 254. So we're going to get another swing in the 7th round, right?
Oh, I do.
All right, and then we're going to go with our boy. Where is he at? Please tell me he's not gone. That would really suck. There he is, Jalen Walker. We good with Jalen Walker right here?
Yep.
All right, Jalen Walker, another great value pick there. You're seeing several names that are popping up, man. This reminds me of Oladapo last year. Like, remember every draft we did, Oladapo was popping. The Packers end up taking him. So, yeah. Let's see. Jake Shavink said, is Oronde Gadsden still there? Let's see. What position? Let's see if we can just look it up this way. Yeah,
tight end. Tight end on Syracuse.
He was probably there when Jake asked, to be honest with you. I just didn't see it. So, what do we want to load up in the board now, gents? What are we thinking here?
Corner, yeah.
All right, so
corner safety, edge. I don't know.
Corner, safety, edge defender. All right, Jordan Hancock, safety out of Ohio State. He's a slot.
Let's see.
Jordan Hancock.
That's 236. Cornerback, versatile.
236, you said?
Yep.
Okay. Dan Jackson out of Georgia. I'll look up Tommy Hill real quick. Oh, Tommy boy. Tommy Hill's 256.
Out of where, Jackson?
Georgia. Dan Jackson out of Georgia, the most Caucasian name of the draft. Do we not have him?
Not that I'm seeing.
Perfect. We got us another one we need to add to the board. This is why we do this. All right, and he is what, a cornerback or a safety, right? Safety and Dan Jackson. So Jordan Hancock's there. Mac McWilliams, I think he's a slot, right? No. Well, yeah, he played slot in 2023. He's versatile. Mac McWilliams, I think, is linked to the Packers too. Where do we got him at?
Mac is 248.
48.
UCF versatile, yeah, and met with the Packers.
Decent value. There's Shiloh Sanders, Dion's boy. There's B.J. Adams. I think he was versatile, right? If I remember correctly. Well, that would be something if the draft just crashed right now, wouldn't it? That'd be great. Wouldn't that be lovely? No versatility there for B.J. Adams. So who was the first guy we said? We'll just go with him.
It was Jordan Hancock, I believe.
Was it Jordan Hancock or was it Tommy Hill?
He was 236.
Yeah, let's go Jordan. We'll go Jordan Hancock here again. 419 slots or snaps in the slot. And then in 2023, he had 401, so he can definitely play slot. Gives you a little bit of versatility there. That way, if for some reason Javon Bullard gets hurt, we don't have to play merry-go-round, right? We got our backup slot there that we're going to try to work in that. So Jordan Hancock out of Ohio State is going to be the 242nd pick. 251. What positions you want loaded in, gents?
Tight end.
Ooh, there's Dupree. No.
CJ Dupree. Yeah. He had a pretty good senior ball.
Anything else? You know what? Let's just leave the board as it is. See if anybody grabs anybody's attention here, because we're down to what? Our last 2 picks here.
Marcus Weir.
Every time Marcus Weir is going to get drafted by us. Every time. Let's go ahead and do that, right, gents?
Let's go ahead and do that.
Where's he at on the board now? I feel like he's lower, but his PFF grades are just crazy high, man.
He is 187.
Is he really? That's a great pick. Anybody disagree there?
Negative.
All right. Marcus Weir is the pick. And then did I see Teddy Buchanan? That's one Jacob was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So we've already taken 2.
If Jacob was talking about him, we probably shouldn't take him.
That's a good point. Let's move on. Seth Hennigan, anybody here grab your all's attention? Anybody at all?
Brew
McCoy? He's cheeks. You kidding me? Howard Cross the third, man. Look at this is an interesting one here, guys. Look at the 2023 PFF grade, 89.8. Where's Howard Cross on our board, man?
Howard Cross.
I think he dealt with an injury this year.
It is 198.
198.
He was 6th best in 23, though.
Yeah. That'd be great value there, but is that a need? We already took one interior defensive lineman, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, somebody call it here. Let's let Carly make the final pick. Carly, you're on the clock. You're muted, but you're on the clock.
Let's go for it. Another D-line.
Another D-line?
I'm not opposed to it, man. I think Howard Cross would be a good. Jake says Carson Vincent.
I was just looking him up. He's 208 on ours.
That'd be good value, wouldn't it? I just asked Carly to make the pick, and then we're going to go against her and get somebody else. Right? So who's higher, Howard Cross or Carson Vincent?
I'm pretty sure it's Vincent.
Vincent.
How many snaps does he have if he has more playing time? Consistently more, then let's go with Vincent.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Howard Cross is 198. Vincent is 209.
Okay. So fairly close together.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's vote on it. Which one do you want, Vincent or Howard Cross? We'll start with you, Tim. Who are you taking here, Vincent or Howard Cross?
Dude, you know I got to go with the Irish, and I'm sticking with my defense, so I vote for Cross.
All right, Carly.
Who's played more?
Well, Howard Cross was hurt this year. He only played 585 snaps. He played 610 last year and 477 the year before. So to answer your question, Vincent, where's that guy at again?
Right down. He had the A&M right there.
He's definitely played more snaps. 807, 740, and 830.
I don't know.
Not even close. All right. So Carly says she's pulling her vote. Okay. Emilio, you're the tiebreaker. Cross with Vincent.
It's either, it's got to be Howard Cross, I think. Because the only other one would be Jabbar Muhammad. We have him at 216, so he's about 11 spots behind Vincent, and 20 spots behind Cross. But that would be my only other pushback. I'm either Cross or the corner.
So we're going Howard Cross, 6'1", 288. He's thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. All right, let's go Howard Cross, defensive lineman. There it is. There's your draft. Let's see what we got. They're going to say you had a
B+.
No, it'll be bad. It's always bad on PFF. We got a lot of picks, though. That's
B-.
Yeah, B- ain't horrible, right?
That looks like last year's draft.
We traded back from 23 to 27 and picked up a third-round pick. We took Josh Connerly Jr., tackle out of Oregon at 27. At 55, we went defensive lineman Derek Harmon out of Oregon. Pick 87 in the third round, we took Trey Harris, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. We went Tate Ratledge with the 91st pick there in the third round, guard out of Georgia. With round 4, pick 123, we went cornerback Zy Alexander. Round 5, pick 165 with the F grade, we went linebacker Jay Higgins. We traded out of 160 and picked up 165 and 242. And then in the 6th round with pick 210, we took Jalen Walker, linebacker out of Indiana. We traded out of round 6, pick 199, and picked up 210 and 254. And then with 242, we took safety / slot defensive back Jordan Hancock out of Ohio State. Round 7, pick 251, we took guard Marcus Weir out of Montana State. And then with their final pick there, pick 254 in the 7th round, we went defensive lineman Howard Cross, the 3rd out of Notre Dame. I really like that last pick, man. The fact that he may drop that far is just wild to me because he was, he was literally, Tim, you remember when we were doing the college football podcast? He was top 10, top 20, right, on the consensus big board going into the season. Pretty wild.
So him falling is going to help us in the long run.
I really think so. I would not be surprised if he's on the radar. I wouldn't. So there you go. There is we made ourselves take a offensive lineman with the first pick draft. I'm glad we're doing this because it really makes you see the draft from multiple angles. You know what I mean?
I vote we go corner for the next one because we were a little lean on cornerback in this draft. Well,
when you say, you mean corner first? Because we did that.
We did do that. That's right. We already did corner. So what would be next? Wide receiver?
I think it would. I think it really would. Let's make ourselves take a wide
running back.
Well, I'll spare you the suspense. You know who my pick for wide receiver is going to be already.
Tim said, I don't give a damn what grades you got. It's Jaden Higgins with the 23rd pick. All right, there you go. So,
yeah, it's either got to be wide receiver, and then we'll work on our trade up ones and say we want to take a number 1, whatever. But yeah, I like it. I know Greg keeps asking, Clay, can you pull up the board real fast?
Pull up our board?
Yeah. And then just us sorted it for us real quick. Just scroll down to below the linebackers.
Let me sort it.
Greg can no, you're good. You're good.
Oh, you already sorted it by backers.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to show Greg we've been doing some deep dives. Scroll under there a little bit more. Let me just get down to the LSs. Keep going. Right there. There you go, Greg. Kicker, long snapper, you can take your pick. William Wagner, we got on there as the best so far. Austin Binkman, we'll see. Rhino, he's my favorite, but we'll see.
Bro, how are you not going to draft a long snapper whose first name is Rhino? You know what I mean?
Or Josh down there, the Colorado of Mines.
Yeah, Wahakowitz.
Yeah, see.
Colorado of Mine. So is he a coal miner? What the hell's going on?
I don't know. I thought it was at first. I thought you typed in Colorado of Mimes, but then I realized I'm pretty sure I'm the one that typed that in. So I don't know what I was typing in.
Emilio was in the bottle that night. It's probably me. To be honest with you. So there you go. Did that answer his question? We good there?
Yeah. No, we're good.
All right. Cool. All right, then I'm going to get rid of this fat Packer fan and add another image in here of our. Moment of silence for the fat Packer fan that we had in here.
He was the man.
No, he wasn't. It made me nauseous. I've actually got his of my cycle over here when I'm exercising. I'm like, this is what you do not need to look at. This is why you're doing this right now. So, all right, cool. So we got our first. We got our have to take a tackle first, right? So we'll go. Offensive lineman is actually what it was, right? First,
yeah, O-line. Yep.
Mock draft. I'll save it as that, and we're good to go. All right, cool. That's it, guys. Got anything else before we wrap up here? Good.
Nothing. That was a good show.
All right, good deal. So we'll do a wide receiver tomorrow, probably tomorrow evening. We'll be back in the morning though for Good Morning Lambeau at 8:30 a.m. Central. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us and making us a part of your evening. I want to give a special shout out. The chat was on fire tonight. Thank you guys so much. Josh Martin with the super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, buddy. We appreciate you. So I know Drew D mentioned this. I'd love to see you guys do a draft on Pro Football Network. The grades are very different. I've thought about doing a consensus big board website one too, because they got a mock draft simulator. The problem is PFF does such a good job of showing you your picks, and some of these other websites are just get really wacky with that stuff. I remember doing them last year, and I'm like, I can't even see who I picked so far. Having to write them down. Maybe the Draft Network or Pro Football Network's a little different. So we'll look into that, Drew. We may start mixing and matching as we get a little later here. So, all right. Appreciate everybody. Carly, it's good to see you. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Good to see you guys.
All right. We'll be back in the morning. Everybody have a great night. Talk to you soon.
And we go. We out.
Bye, guys.